Welcome back, folks, to my channel. I haven't uploaded in a really long time, but ever since I've gotten really into finance. And yeah, I just wanted to talk today about a potential theory that I have about Taiwan and China and semiconductors. So today, when I was coming back from school, I was thinking about how I missed the opportunity with oil, and it was right in front of my face, seeing that Russia was invading Ukraine, and that there would be a lot of sanctions imposed, and that a lot of nations would maybe stop buying oil from Russia. And obviously, the price of oil has spiked big time. I think before Russia invaded Ukraine, it was around $80 a barrel, and now oil's at around $126 a barrel. So obviously, I wasn't very happy in missing that boat. It was right in front of my eyes, and yeah, it was unfortunate. But something that I have been looking at, which might happen in the future, I'm not going to say it will, but it could, is China has seen that Russia has invaded Ukraine, and they're seeing that, yes, there's these sanctions that are being put on Russia, and yes, they are hurting the Russian economy to a certain extent. But as we've seen in the past with a lot of sanctions that have been imposed, the U.S. has imposed sanctions on Russia since 2014 when they invaded Crimea, and really hasn't had a big effect. And yeah, there's more sanctions now, but in my opinion, I don't think the sanctions are going to hurt Russia's economy big time in the future. I think they're going to be able to still expend their natural resources somewhere else, maybe instead of Europe, and they barely expend to the U.S., but other places besides the U.S. But to my point, I think China is seeing this as a great opportunity and to invade or blockade Taiwan. I think there's a lot of vulnerability right now, and I think everybody is focused on the Ukraine situation, and not a lot of people are looking at the Taiwan and South Asia situation. So I think if China were to blockade or invade Taiwan, I think it would cripple Taiwanese companies, because obviously you can't really keep conducting business in a war zone. And even though Taiwan is very hard to invade, as it's very mountainous and the waters are pretty rough around them, I think it's still definitely a possibility, as China's military is much greater and much larger than Taiwan's. And if this were to happen, I believe that Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, their ticker symbol is TSM on the New York Stock Exchange. I think they're going to be crippled because, for one, they're not going to be able to produce semiconductors, and they're the world's largest semiconductor producer. And when they're not able to conduct business and they're not able to export goods, because 90% of goods are transported by ship, and if they're blockaded by China, they're obviously not going to be able to do that as much or at all. So these companies that will come into place and will take over that semiconductor market even more so, as they already have been during the pandemic, will be, in my opinion, AMD, Nvidia, and Intel. I really like AMD because I really think Lisa Su is an amazing CEO. Their earnings are always really good, and yeah, they're down a little bit in the last month. They're down 20% in the last month, so I think it's a good time to buy. They're at about 105 right now. Their revenue actually beat expectations by 6.85%, which is really good. And yeah, I think if TSMC is cut off and they're not able to export semiconductors, then I think AMD is going to be able to take over that market, as well as Nvidia and Intel. I like AMD a little bit more, but Nvidia has obviously done really well in the past year or so. And yeah, they're down about 19.4% in the last month. And yeah, they had really good earnings last quarter. They beat revenue by 2.87%. And also Intel, they're actually not very far down in the last month. They're down about 4.5%. And their revenue actually beat expectations by 6.58% in the last quarter. So yes, if TSMC, the largest semiconductor company, is cut off, then these other semiconductor companies are going to have more control in the market, and they're American companies as well. And I think they're going to do very well. I'm not the smartest person in the room, and I'd like to hear what you guys think. This is an open discussion, and please give me your thoughts in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll hopefully have another video up here soon. Thank you very much for listening. Good night.